Yo, hello. All right, quick video, just talking. I want to quickly jump on and talk about where we exactly are in the crypto market at the moment and why the last few days of price action from what I've seen with Bitcoin and also ETH actually looks pretty good. So if we really look here at Bitcoin, I think what we can clearly see is that we've had like a really nice pullback. So this is kind of what I was really hoping for, where we got this pullback back down. We got rejected at the 41K level, right? And if you're a beginner, you may see this as a very negative sign that you got rejected like that. We made that push up initially and we held for one day, but we just went right back down. But this is really common price action to really see at a level that's just clearly been so strong. I mean, this is probably the most dominant range, whether it's support or resistance right now for the market period, right? I mean, since all the way back to at the beginning of the year, right? This has really been the key range that has dictated the market, and especially now when it's kind of in line with the 200-day moving average, it's extremely important. And so seeing this rejection actually wasn't bad at all, and I'm actually becoming more and more positive on the outlook of Bitcoin just because of the kind of bounce that we saw. We saw the bounce exactly what we were hoping for when we were talking about the pullback in the previous video. We got the pullback back to about 36, 37,000, right, which coincided with the 21-day. We have the wick a bit below it, but we bounced right back up of the 50-day. And this is really bullish momentum and a really bullish price pattern to see, right? And now we're retesting the 41K level. So it shows that the bulls are out. The bulls are buying. We basically set that higher low, that very key higher low here. And it's looking really promising at the moment, honestly. This is how I'm viewing the market. So even in terms of Bitcoin, if we get rejected here again at this 41K level, that's not the worst thing in the world. Again, this is such a very key, strong resistance point at the moment that if we got that pullback again, but we set kind of like a little bit even more of a higher low on the day chart, right? Like if we kind of got this consolidation period pattern here above the 200-day next before we kind of retest the 41 level and then hopefully break through it and then do something like this, that would be really nice to see, and a very kind of stable, steady trend up. And that's what I'm kind of hoping to see here. So this is a really key level now. It's really important now that we're retesting Bitcoin. Um, but so far the charts are looking really good for Bitcoin. And it's just, this pullback was very positive, right? Too often in crypto, we just see things just go up with very little pullback and we just continue like that. But we got a very healthy pullback here, and chart is looking good. Okay, so that's just my current stance on it. I'm not really I'm not really accumulating Bitcoin, even though I'm becoming more and more positive on it, just because I don't think the risk to reward is there. Personally, it's at a $40,000 price range. I think the upside on ETH is much higher than on Bitcoin. So that's why I've been primarily focusing on accumulating ETH. And now let's take a look at that chart. And we're seeing something very similar again, right? Similar to the Bitcoin chart where we had this run up, we got a 1 day of pullback, and we found very strong support here at this 2,500 price range, right? Which we knew from drawing the lines back here, right, that has been previously acted as very strong resistance. This is kind of like the 41K point for Bitcoin. Okay, that's what it really is, but except for ETH. And now we got that really nice pullback, and now we're going higher. And it's really good to see. We didn't get too much of a sell-off for EIP 5059. So that's really good to see. I hope, that was just more of a warning, right? That sometimes you do get that price action, but maybe also the market isn't that aware of what even EIP 5059 is. I mean, wouldn't surprise me, right? Just given how most people who are in the crypto space at the moment, I feel like they don't know anything that they're talking about. It is what it is. But so, um, yeah, the price action is continuing to look really good. And again, I'm still pretty bullish on it. At these price levels, now that we're getting towards 2,700, I'm becoming a little less or a little more hesitant accumulating at these prices just because it is a bit higher, you know, even even if you're looking at like a target range of about, you know, let's say $8,000 or $9,000 Ethereum, at these price ranges, you're now starting to only look at a 3x, which isn't that great, I think, for crypto as a return, especially for a long-term hold, because I could be holding this for a few years to come. But I'm still accumulating just because I'm so bullish on ETH, and I think it has even more potential than $9,000. But I just don't know if that's going to happen in this particular bull cycle. So yeah, and by this particular bull cycle, I mean kind of sometime this year and maybe at the beginning of next year. It may take a lot longer for that to ever hit, where we get past like to crazier levels. But just because I'm so bullish on the project overall, and it's still not that high. Like once it gets past $3,000, that's where I'm probably going to start getting a little more hesitant, and maybe then start looking at other better offers in the market. Like for example, if ETH continues to really continue this pretty strong steady uptrend like this, and we get past $3,000, then maybe I'll look at accumulating some other projects which are at quite a discount, because despite ETH holding you know, doing pretty well and Bitcoin doing pretty well, the rest of the market is still pretty down from where it was, right? The alts have not really moved too much. I mean, they certainly have, but just relative to those peaks, it's clear that the altcoin euphoria still isn't really back yet. Like people aren't going full balls to the walls into alts at the moment. I think people are still waiting a little bit, or at least that's what the charts are seeming to show. If we look at DOT, for example, yes, we've had a really nice run up where we've almost doubled, but even the charts don't look that promising compared to ETH at the moment, or compared to Bitcoin. That's just my take, and I still think it's not worth taking the risk into higher risk coins at the moment. That's just what I think. It's just my word of advice. The only coin that has gone up ridiculously is Voyager. Look at this. Oh my God, an almost 160% increase for its from its relative bottom. This is because they announced the acquisition of a of a payment protocol, Coinify or whatever it was called, some sort of payments app, which has like 1.75 million users. Frankly speaking, guys, if you're a beginner, don't fall for this type of bullshit news. It doesn't mean anything, okay? Yes, the charts are going, the price is looking really good, but in terms of the long-term prospects, an acquisition of this nature, 1.75 million users, that's nothing. That's bullshit, okay? It doesn't mean anything in tech, right? Yes, you may get short-term price gains. If you're trying to purely trade, like take a gamble, take a punt, and buy down here and hope that you get this huge pump from some stupid-ass news, yeah, sure. I mean, you can definitely make money, but just because Voyager, just because Voyager announces a partnership like this, in the long-term picture does not mean shit. Everybody always announces partnerships. Any decent project's going to announce partnerships, but it does not mean at all that the project is going to be successful in the longer term, and it does not mean at all that this coin in a few years' time could just completely die out. Okay, so that's my only my warning towards this. Um, I'm sure it probably has some room to run up, right? Especially if we get, you know, more liquidity into smaller altcoins, and people are looking at the charts and seeing this upwards trend. I'm sure it has some more room to go, but don't take this necessarily as a sign like, okay, now we're going to a Voyager that's going to be worth like $100, okay? It's probably not going to happen. And again, these partnerships in the actual fundamental long-term picture don't mean much whatsoever. 1.75 million users in tech. I worked in consumer tech before. It doesn't mean fuck all, okay? Especially in the financial sector. Just doesn't mean much, okay? Not especially when you're talking about a project like Voyager that is constantly making these big claims, right? That in terms of what they want to achieve, what they want to do for the financial market sector, doesn't mean shit, okay? Anyways, guys, that's kind of like my crypto roundup for today. If you like my thoughts, give me a thumbs up. If you don't agree with me, leave a comment. We can duke it out, and take it easy, guys.